Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about stop trying to fix the breakup.
Just stop.
Many of us are overwhelmed with anxiety and we become absolutely convinced that we have to do something and we try to force it. And in my experience, it doesn't work when you try that.
Mm-hmm. Everything in us is trying to repair and trying to keep us safe and connected to the person that we love. And our body will send out adrenaline. We'll have palpitations. Our body will be in go mode to do something. And a lot of times it backfires on us.
Yeah, it feels like you're in like DEFCON 4 or something where like your body is just feels like, it's on the verge of war.
Yeah.
And you can't think, you can't eat, you can't do anything, you can't sleep. Your mind is just constantly obsessing about it, and it keeps looking for a solution.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's because it's all separation anxiety. When we're connected to someone in our mind, that's our safe person. That's somebody that we have a connection with that can help us survive and thrive through life.
Yep.
So when that connection is severed through a breakup, it sets off all of these alarms and it tells our body we need to move, we need to repair, we need to connect, we need to go back to safety. And it's all rooted in that separation anxiety.
Absolutely.
And knowing that this is a physiological response, that this is our body's reaction, can help us better understand our mind and our thoughts and our feelings as we go through it. A lot of times we are convinced, like Craig said, that we do have to do something and we have to do this grand gesture to reconnect, and it can lead us to do some really destructive behavior, this amount of energy that we have. And so knowing this is a normal physiological response that your body is going through can kind of help you manage those thoughts. It doesn't mean that you have to jump into action. It doesn't even mean that the two of you were meant to be together.
Yep.
It just means your body is having a natural reaction.
It's like when you're a kid and you lose your parents at the store and you just feel like, that's it. My life is over. You feel like you're dying. You've seen those kids. You've been those kids. Yeah. We've all been those kids where you lose your parents for a few minutes and you feel this overwhelming amount of anxiety and panic, and you're just uncontrollably crying and bawling. And that is our biology. Stay close to our loved ones. If you lost your parents 1,000 years ago, in the wilderness, you probably aren't going to survive, right? So our biology is telling us stay close to our loved ones. And when we're away from them, it feels like we're dying. That's why we feel like we're dying when somebody ends the relationship.
And many of us, we go wrong in the breakup because we try to force, we try to fix, we try to pressure and convince. And that can quickly turn into harassment, into stalking, into these really maladaptive types of behaviors and damaging behaviors that can really cause the other person to push away or to pull away and to not feel safe around you.
Begging, pleading. You start driving past their house. You start contacting their friends and family. It's very painful, and you're doing everything that you can to make that feeling go away, which is why so many of you get stuck just on the no contact videos, because you're really struggling each day with that. But you've got to get through that and past that and work through that. Otherwise, when they come back, you're not really going to be any more better off than you were when you broke up. Right. You won't have the skills to repair things and make things better.
Exactly. So the purpose of this video is to remind you to stop trying to fix it. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that, because ultimately it's about self-soothing. It's about being able to manage yourself when you are feeling that separation anxiety. Remind yourself that you are in fact safe. Remind yourself that you are in a different situation. You are not a child. You are an adult with agency and with some semblance of control over your life, even just a little bit. And so these are really important reminders to kind of be able to get you through no contact and get you through the separation anxiety. So there's a couple things that we can talk about that can help. You want to think about the breakup almost like a wound, like a deep open sore, a deep open wound. And every time we try to reach out to an ex, every time we try to force and try to have a conversation and just talk about it. It's almost like we're picking at that fresh wound over and over and over again and not giving it a chance to sit, not giving a chance for the wound to really heal itself.
Yep. I felt like I had an empty chest. It felt like I had an empty cavity in my whole chest. Like I got shot with a cannonball. That's what it felt like. Literally, that is what it felt like. I don't even know how to explain that feeling other than it genuinely felt like my entire chest got shot with a cannonball and there was nothing left in the middle. That's how painful it was for me.
Yeah. Analogies and these kind of concepts or quotes or thoughts can be really helpful in having a different perception of the breakup itself. You know, one that people bring up all the time that you say in some of your earlier videos is when you talk about how an ex's love is kind of like an open faucet.
Yes.
You're feeling this like flow of love and the faucet is open and the relationship is great. And then when the breakup happens, it's like somebody turned off the faucet and not even a single drop.
Not another drop.
Some people mention that in the calls. They'll be like, you know, that feeling of not another drop from the faucet. And
Yep.
I know exactly what analogy you're referring to, because that's
Yep.
what it feels like. You see somebody just completely shut off. You feel yourself in a lot of pain. And so conceptualizing the breakup in these ways can be helpful,
Yep.
especially when our body's trying to convince us, no, you have to act, no, you have to do something.
I remember I had one nightmare that I could still even picture in my head where it felt like me and the Applebee's girl were in a car crash and we were like thrown out of the car and like I'm laying on the pavement like half out of it and she gets in the ambulance with the other guy and leaves.
Oh my god.
And like the other guy that she left me to date was
Wow.
like, yeah,
Wow.
was like an EMT at the scene.
Wow.
That's what it felt like.
Wow.
I could still feel that feeling, that nightmare that I remember waking up to it. It
Some
was
of
awful.
the dreams that I've had after pretty bad events have been, you know, me talking to a person and saying, oh my gosh, that event was crazy. Oh my gosh, the breakup was crazy. Can you believe that we broke up? And it's just a dream, you know, trying to seal shut those wounds or pretend that they didn't happen. So our mind can play some pretty nasty tricks on us.
Yep.
Try to convince us of things.
And a lot of times we feel like we have to do something. We have to talk about it. I remember with a couple of my exes that I just felt like, oh, we have to talk about this. If we just talk about this, we're going to be okay. We'll just go to dinner, we'll talk about it, and we'll figure everything out and we'll be able to work through it. We're just convinced that talking about it is the answer. And unfortunately, when it's gotten to a breakup, it is not the answer, right? That is not what you want to do. You don't want to push that because you think it's the solution, but it just makes the other person feel more trapped when they're trying to feel free. So that is not what you want to do. What you want to be able to do is figure out how to calm your anxiety down, how to soothe yourself. And when you grew up in a home with parents that have a lot of anxiety or don't teach you how to soothe yourself, you don't know how to calm down your anxiety and you just feel like you're on edge all the time. My mom had a lot of anxiety, and I realize now that when I had so much anxiety growing up, it's because she was anxious all the time. So how could she tell me to soothe myself when she couldn't soothe herself? So one of the things that I did with my children from the day they were born was help soothe them. You're okay. It's okay. And repeat it over and over again, even day one when they would be crying. So they would internalize that. And that is what you have to learn to do. And one of the skills that you really want to work on during this breakup is being able to do that. Take all that anxious energy and do the workbooks. Do the creative healing course. Put that energy into something positive instead of obsessing about what your ex is doing, how long they haven't been posting on Instagram or been on WhatsApp, or how many hours they've been off of Facebook Messenger. Focus the energy on something positive, and it will be so much more proactive, and you're going to grow. All the changes will help you to reattract them, be more emotionally literate, be able to handle your anxiety and the challenges of getting in front of your ex again, because it's going to be challenging getting in front of your ex again. You don't realize when you're in no contact, they don't realize how hard it's going to be seeing that person for the first time.
And self-soothing in that moment as well, too.
Yes.
You know, in traditional counseling and therapy where you learn a lot of coping skills, a lot of times you are practicing those skills when you feel completely chill, not when an active panic attack is happening or not when you're like currently feeling overwhelmed. You practice those skills when you're calm so that you have a better idea of what to do when things go wrong. Just like you see, you know, people preparing for a fire, not during the fire, but beforehand, right? That's all about training. And this is kind of what this is like, is when you're learning how to self-soothe. Yes, you're going through an active breakup. Yes, you feel an immense amount of separation anxiety, but you're also learning how to self-soothe as a skill in general.
Yes.
And that's something that's important to remember.
It has to be one of the biggest priorities you focus on while you're in no contact. I promise you, you are going to have your ex say some very challenging and difficult things when you get in front of them or they're considering repairing things, things that you're not ready for, things that you will be surprised, things that you didn't even think of, even though you've been obsessively thinking about your breakup 24/7. Your ex is going to say these things to you that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was that was really bothering them. Oh my gosh.
And that's why it's hard, because sometimes on calls with us, you will give us the information that you know, that you perceive. And sometimes you do have an interaction with your ex and then new information is brought up or things that you didn't expect or they behave in ways that you didn't expect. So we try to work with you as best as we can. And we know that there's no way to 100% prepare for speaking to an ex again or prepare you for that situation. But we want to use what we have. We want to be able to build the skills that we do have and let those shine.
Yeah.
So it can be hard. It can be challenging.
What I mean, honestly, like I've been doing this for so long that when I hear the reasons of the breakup and I'm talking to you guys, I'm like, okay, this is what I think they're going to say if you get in front of them. You better have good answers for the following questions. And I'll do role plays with them. I'll be like, I'll ask him and then I'll be like, what are you going to do in this situation? And they'll be like, okay. And then I'll do these role plays with them to get them ready, because when your ex is in front of you, they're going to say these gut-wrenching things that always shock you. And if you can't soothe your anxiety in that moment, you're going to panic, lose emotional self-control.
And many of you are looking at the breakup from the lens of your attachment style. Maybe you are more anxious and you are thinking that your ex is going to respond in a way that an anxious person like you would, when they might be super dismissive, avoidant, or disorganized, or have a completely different attachment style or approach. And so a lot of the times in our coaching, you know, it's also getting you to see a different perspective of if they've had this pattern of being very avoidant in the relationship, they might show up differently than you think. So a lot of things to consider. When you're going through a breakup and you're trying to fix and force, you have a lot of energy. And at the same time, you might also be exhausted, because that's how that works. You have a lot of energy, bursts of energy, and then feeling very depressed and exhausted and low and like you can't move a finger.
Yeah, that anxiety will give you a lot of anxiety or energy out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. What a lot of people do is they move their body. They work out. And many of you going through a breakup, you sign up for a 24/7 gym, and you know that all those people there at 3 a.m., they're probably going through it too.
Watch your phones and see if they're listening to us.
Yeah, right. You're going to get a certain gym.
I remember going for long walks at night, long walks, and listening to stuff, to anything that I could to help me calm down at night. But or going for runs too.
Yeah. So moving your body is one of the best things that you can do with that anxious energy that's in your body. Another great thing is to pour into projects. And this is hard because a lot of times your focus is not the best when you are feeling very anxious or depressed or going through a breakup. But thinking about what you can invest your time in, and if you are able to help others in some way. We find a lot of people will get into hobbies or start to volunteer or be involved in some sort of group or project or hobby. So that can also be really helpful.
The creative healing course has a lot of great stuff in it too, like the art therapy activities.
Yeah, get creative. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point of it, is to explore your unconscious as well.
Right. Connect with others. Being social is another really great thing that you can do. It helps you expand your mind a little bit more. Just being around other people helps you be less in your own world and in your own little box.
Yep.
So Sometimes in the beginning, you might not feel like you have the energy, or you feel like you can't really be present with others. All you want to do is bring up your ex and what they think and try to predict and plan. And if you get everybody's opinion on it, then the reality must be somewhere in the middle, right? It must be like the averages of everybody's opinion, right? No. Try to be as present as possible, and it does get better. Just be consistent with being around others. One of the worst things you can do on the other end is to isolate, so we don't want that either.
Yep.
And then lastly, along with the creative healing course, with the workbooks, with our videos, you really want to be able to educate yourself on relationships as a whole.
We have like 2,500
gosh.
videos.
Yeah. And within those videos, we have resources for you. Margaret gave so many book suggestions that your bookshelves must be full at this point, between authors and titles. And so
she was in over 500 videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of information out there on relationships and people who have studied this extensively, experts in the field.
Look for clinicians.
Yes, please.
Not average people off of the street.
Right. And so there's a lot of information out there, and many of you are in a much more emotional state and you absorb a lot more information now. So take advantage of that. If you have that extra energy and you don't feel like, getting up and going to the gym or moving your body, see if you can pick up something and focus your attention even for a couple sentences. Try to educate yourself and use that energy towards something that will help you.
Fixing it doesn't work when you're trying to force it. We say it all the time. You constantly look for excuses to reach out, handwritten letters, clean slate messages, good reminder text. All of those things very rarely work. They usually make it worse. Allowing that person to feel the loss and reach out to you when they are ready, you are far more likely going to turn it around. And so forcing it because you feel anxious is not going to work in your benefit in most cases. Trust me, I hear it every week. I have clients that we do coachings together and they get anxious later on and don't stick to the plan. And then they come back a week later and like, I didn't listen to what you said. Okay, what happened? And they're usually not too happy with what happened because those things aren't what helps repair a breakup. I know it feels good. I know it sounds good. I know your friends and family are going to convince you.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't work like that.
And ChatGPT might too.
Oh, gosh, that's another new one.
Yeah. AI is going to give you some suggestions to do things, and we got to be willing to give our ex space and respect the decision. That's the bottom line on it.
If you don't hear us say to do it in a video, I would not recommend it because we have been doing this for a long time and we know what tends to happen when you try those different kinds of things. And of course, we're available for coaching. Right? You can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.